Hey, welcome everyone to High Level Social Media Marathon that is happening right now. Happy Friday for those of you that are just tuning in. And I have a very, very special guest, and I met Amanda as part of the High Level Masterminds. And I remember talking to her in person. And in addition to that, she was part of some of the other sales masterminds that I was part of as well, like Ryan Stewman, for example, and a couple of others. But Amanda is someone I've seen and kind of watched grow in our high level community for a long time. And let me just give you some notes about Amanda before we open up the floor to her. Amanda is the founder of the Funnel Kitchen and, of course, amandadake.com, where she helps business owners design scalable strategies to grow their business with ease and clarity. With over 15 years plus of experience in marketing and entrepreneurship, she's worked with thousands of business owners to refine their offers, streamline their systems, and of course, achieve measurable results. Known for her approachable and practical style, she's passionate about empowering others to thrive in their business. And I know, Amanda, you work with a lot of experts and coaches and course creators and things like that. But for the folks that don't know you just yet, tell us your story. I'm excited to introduce you to the entire community here at High Level.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I'm excited to be here today. I started out as a high school science teacher. For 12 years, I did that. And back in 2011 is whenever I stepped away from that career and just started making my own way in this digital marketing space. And so back in 2011, everything was pretty new. So, but I did not go to school for this. It was just something that kind of happened. I started out just working with social media, helping some local clients. I'm in Oklahoma. And so, yes, there are lots of people that live here and lots of businesses that need help. So I found businesses that needed help with social media and then lead generation. And that's how I started teaching myself about funnels. I was trained by some of the best in the business with funnels, spoke on lots of stages. I've helped business owners of all kinds from all over the world now with creating their offers, creating their marketing systems, and really hitting the goals that they want to hit. So I'm excited to be here with you guys today just to talk about some basics that I help most of my clients with. Um, and I even utilize myself. So this is actionable steps that you can take every single day to build your authority and grow your audience online. So
I love
that's what
that.
I love helping people do things with ease, like you said, and in simple doable ways. I don't want people to get bogged down with tech or details or overproduction or anything else that comes up. So that's why I'm excited to be here to show you what my daily six is.
I love that. I love that. So, for those of you that are watching, we are currently live on all of our social platforms. And make sure you give us a follow and subscribe and all of that. But most importantly, tell me what city and state you're checking in from. And one of the cool things that happen with these virtual events we do is people start connecting with others in the same city, and we hear about lunch meetups, dinner happy hours, and all kinds of stuff
Yeah.
around the family of high levels. So make sure you get connected, but most importantly, tell us what city and state you're checking in from so others can see where you are and they'll reach out to you, they'll connect with you and things like that. Amanda, one of the things that always stood out to me about you and interacting with you at masterminds and other coaching programs of the past is you're a systems person and you're
Hmm.
results driven. But for us to get there, we have to understand the power of what we have when it comes to social media. Like that's really where a lot of the traffic is generated, whether it's organic or,
Paid.
paid.
Yeah.
But either way, Amanda, how did you find high level? And how do you work with social media in general pertaining to high level? Like, give us a
Yeah.
context of the big picture before we go
Sure.
into the slides.
I I honestly don't even remember how I found high level. High level found me. No, I don't know how I found it. I remember, oh, gosh, I came to the very first SaaSpreneur meet. I'll call it. It was a meetup almost. mean, it was put together well, but it was not like anything that's happening now. There were maybe 50 people in that room. And I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about. It was
Probably in
very beginning.
Dallas.
It was
Probably
in
in
Dallas
Dallas.
and
Okay, yeah.
it was in a small room. And it was maybe a day or maybe two at the
Yeah.
most. It was
Yeah.
not, it was very new. And that's when everyone was trying to figure out this whole SaaS mode kind of thing. And it was just new for everyone, even high
Yes.
level, really trying to
Yes.
get it out there. And so I don't know, it was probably, I'm really connected with a lot of the the people that use high level. And I'm sure that they were going down there and I just followed along. And there's a person, Dar.
Yep.
Uh,
Dar
he
Holsworth.
is
Yeah.
here in Oklahoma, not far from where I live. And I think that I met him there. And that's why, like, even, yeah, putting your name over in the chat and telling us where you are, I had no idea this guy was my neighbor, like, literally. But I was able to meet him in person and some others. And it was really powerful to connect. I hadn't decided if like what level I was going to be using the software, whether I just wanted to use it for myself or if I wanted to use it as a SaaS or however. But now I am fully enveloped in it. I do offer it as a part of my package with my clients through my own white label. Uh, I try to make that as simple as possible. I don't market it outside of working with my clients. So, like many others do sell it actively online. Mine is more controlled and contained because I didn't really
Makes
want to
sense.
be a SaaSpreneur, so to speak. I still want to be able to consult my clients and help them get the results, but also help them with that tech system side.
I love that.
So, yeah, when it comes to the social media side of things, social media is more than just posting on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. And as I'm going to talk a little bit about today, there are all kinds of ways to utilize high level when you are working online through social media platforms. And that can be through like the social media scheduler. And now you're able to connect your socials and have the conversations go right into your conversations tab in high level. You also, if you use any kind of lead magnets or anything like that, and you promote those through your social media channels, those contacts are then added into your high level account. And those conversations and those automations all can happen right there. So there's so many ways that social media activity and high level interact with one another and make your life so much easier uh, for whenever you're managing all of those things. Because if you're out there on multiple platforms, it can be really difficult to keep up with all the conversations and all the things. And so having these systems outlined and set up in high level properly makes things so much easier.
Absolutely. So as Amanda is pulling up her slides and we're gonna kind of keep our conversation kind of designed so you can maximize as you listen in. Tell us in the comments which social media platform you're like the most excited about. Some of you are like, "Hey, TikTok is back," and some of you are like, "You know what? I'm going after LinkedIn like I've always have." So like, give us your feedback as you're watching this on which platform you get the most excited about. And Amanda's going to pull up her slides for the session today. But most importantly, I vouch for what Amanda said is connecting with others that are part of our ecosystem. And, Dar is one of the biggest names of high level. If you don't know who Dar Holsworth is, but it's amazing. You got to meet him many years ago before
Yeah.
Dar was Dar,
Yeah, now he's this, he sold his SaaS and now he's started over again. And so it's
Right.
really encouraging for everyone, especially if you are in the agency mode and wanting to grow that SaaS for your business. He's showing you what's possible in such a short amount of time as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of really great people to meet in this community, that's for sure. Okay, can you see my slides just fine?
Yes, if you can see the slides in the comments, just put a one down. I can see it. It looks like we're good to go. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So this is a training that I love to give and share with others, and I just call it the Daily Six. And this is how you can build your authority and grow your audience online. Mostly, I love to share this because everything that I'm going to share today are things you can do that don't cost you any extra money. So when business owners or entrepreneurs are really just getting started, they typically have more time than they have money. And so this is designed to be able to help you put yourself out there, start building your presence without having to spend a bunch of money and learning ads and all these systems to get it done. So, what is the Daily Six? It's six simple, free daily actions to build your authority, connect with your audience, and grow your business consistently. And that is the key here with consistently. So, many people will take one of these actions and maybe do them once a week. And that's not what this is meant to be. It's meant to be able to do all six of these things consistently. And that's where you're going to see the biggest impact to your business. So, why the daily six? I wanted to reduce the overwhelm of growing a business. There are so many moving parts, not only from designing your offer to figuring out who you're marketing to, how you're going to market, but then again, post on social media, make videos, do all these things. There's so much stuff. So, I want to reduce that overwhelm. And so now this Daily Six is a go-to guide that I share with clients to help them focus, build authority, and reach their goals. Now, the Daily Six isn't the only thing that my clients do to reach their goals, but it is a big part of it. So, number one of the Daily Six is engaging on social media daily. So, we all know that's really important, but we also know that social media can be a time suck. And it can also just throw you off track. You can get sidetracked by searching for things or just doom scrolling, is what I hear it's called now, just like wasting time. So there are a few kind of rules to put around it whenever you're going through the Daily Six here. Number one is pick the platform or platforms where your ideal clients hang out. So you don't have to be on every single platform that exists. That just makes me need to take a deep breath and sit back for a minute because it is overwhelming. So if you know who your ideal client is, you should be able to identify which platforms they're most likely to be engaging on. And so, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Threads now, Blue Sky, like how many others are there? There's probably many more. I use Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn the most. So that's just where my people are. And I have a system that helps me do all of these things. But if you do TikTok, I know so many people use TikTok and other short form video type platforms. Just pick the one that you're going to be the most consistent with and that you're going to find your clients or your clients are going to find you. Then once you have those platforms identified, spend 10 to 15 minutes actively engaging on that platform. This doesn't mean you're posting constantly, but this means you are looking at other people's posts. You are commenting on them. You're answering questions. You're sharing insights. This is going to do a couple of things for you. You're going to build visibility. You're going to be positioned as the expert. Now, you can do this on people's posts, or you can also join Facebook groups that where your ideal clients will hang out. And if you do join Facebook groups, I think you're going to get more bang for your buck, your time buck in Facebook groups because that's really concentrated with your ideal clients. And if you're only giving yourself so much time to spend in there, there's a little magnifying glass at the top of a group where you can search specific terms or words or phrases that are pertaining to your expertise. So this means if you go to a group, you don't have to sit and scroll through all of the group to find a post that maybe you can interact with. You can use that little magnifying glass and search for your terms and then go see who's actually asking questions that you can answer. And then you get to answer them. So, what's really important too is when you start answering questions or providing feedback or encouragement or whatever that is, people will see your name, and a lot of times they'll click on your name. And that is going to introduce them to who you actually are. So, whenever you're doing this, it's important to make sure that your profile is optimized. I can't tell you how many times that I've been interacting with people online and I am interested in what they say and what they do, and I click on their name. I have no idea what they do or how they help people or how I could get their help. And so it's really important to put like a bio statement, like who do you help or what do you do? It doesn't mean that you have to share all of your personal details. You can lock down things that you don't want non-friends to see. But I think it's really important to optimize that. So if you are open for business and you are looking for people to help, that they can figure out that you are the person to help them. So 10 to 15 minutes actively engaging, that's daily. And it doesn't really have to be more than that. You can really accomplish a lot with focused determination in that amount of time. And the last part about engaging on social media daily is you want to focus on providing the value without pitching yourself all the time. And I know that we've all seen it where people just, they'll just go straight for the jugular, is what I call it. They just say, buy my stuff, or I'll pay me $100 and I'll tell you the answer, or whatever, and like whatever crazy thing you've seen. But honestly, social media is meant for building relationships, getting your name out there, getting some visibility, and providing actual value to people. The customers will come, and I promise, without constant pitching. So that is the step number one for the daily six.
One of the things that kind of stood out to me as you just shared this is the concept of, a profile funnel. Like most people don't
Yeah.
have a profile configured to a point where somebody can navigate through it and access your resources or navigate through it and access your vulnerable story or access the offer or access who you stand for and what you stand for.
Yeah.
Like it's just even if you don't have a certain thing that you're selling, if you can just be black and white and show that you stand for a certain thing from a social standpoint, I think it moves the needle a lot for somebody becoming a customer. Maybe not then and then, but like in the long term cycle that you're entering them into.
Yep, I absolutely agree. And one little secret that some people may not know is that in every single group that you're a member of, if you click on your name in that group, you can edit your profile for that group only. So you
Hmm.
can, yeah, you can say what you like. So you may want to change up your expertise slightly for the group that you're in, right? That really speaks
Oh,
to that group. You can you don't have to put where you're from if you don't want that to be visible in that part. Now, whenever they click on your name in the group, that part will come up, but it also does say view profile. So they can go over to your main one, but inside of a group, if you're in there, you can, and if you click on anybody's name, you'll see if they have that set up. And yeah, you can customize how you help people, where you live, your website, all kinds of different stuff, just specifically for each group. But you do have to set it up for each group that you're in. It doesn't do it for you automatically.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
picking the platform where your ideal clients hang out, how do we figure out where our ideal clients are? Like I know
Well,
back
that
when I
really is
had,
so dependent on who your client is.
yeah, so like certain industries hang out in certain platforms and
Mhm.
certain type of buyers or in certain type of groups and things like that.
Yes. So if you're accustomed to working with more CEOs or professional type people, then LinkedIn may be a great place for you. Now, I have a client who works with specifically with gym owners. So they're an owner, right? They're a founder, they're an owner. They could be considered a CEO. The funny thing is, through some research that we did, LinkedIn is not where they hang out. So it really depends on your specific niche and your specific avatar, where they are, right? So mine are primarily business owners making around seven figures, I mean, six figures, sometimes up to seven. Um, Coaches, functional medicine practitioners, consultants, people like that, podcasters. A lot of my people are on LinkedIn and they're very active there. LinkedIn is its own kind of beast, if you will,
Yeah.
from Facebook and other platforms. But if you're if you, it just depends really what you sell. I'm not a TikToker, and so I don't know who all hangs out there. I'm sure that I could find customers there too, but I don't enjoy making videos and doing all of those things. So it's just not where I want to spend my time. But there's plenty of other opportunities for me over on Facebook, on Instagram. I run ads on Meta, so it just makes sense for me to be really active there. But really, you just have to identify where you will be consistent and spend your time. If you love TikTok, LinkedIn is probably not your jam, right? It's totally different. And
Yeah.
if you feel like you're being forced to put yourself into that platform, uh, that may not be right for you. So
Yeah.
you have to do it where your people are, but you have to do it where you want to be as well.
Makes total sense. And the 10 to 15 minutes daily, is that where did that time slot or time period come from? Is this more about the concept of engaging? Does it matter how long it is? Like, what are your intention on that?
Yeah. So my intention was to make sure that you could give yourself enough time to have an impact there, but not where it's going to take up your whole calendar, right? And I know that we all spend more than 10 minutes on social media. Like, so,
I was gonna
um,
say.
but are you spending 10 to 15 minutes really focused on what you're doing there? Is the difference. And so actually, I revamped this entire Daily Six this year. Uh, as social media changes and different customer and consumer activities change, then we have to change our methods as well. I used to have people join Facebook groups specifically. So one of this Daily Six steps was just for Facebook groups only. I evolved that into just engaging in social media because groups have evolved. I mean, it's week on, week off, it seems, on Facebook anymore with where if groups are busy or not busy or active or not, or you're getting reach or not. So that's why I kind of enveloped all of the social media activities into one. But before it was spending 10 minutes in a group each day. So and if you're a part of, five or 10 groups, that's going to really get you a lot of visibility. But now, like I said, groups are so hit or miss. And I wanted people to have a time frame that they can be very dedicated and intentional about what they're doing. So then they can go about their normal scrolling without, without any worry about posting or engaging. So
Makes sense.
the 10 or 15, I made it up. Is that what like you want me like
No,
there's
no,
no
I
science behind it?
Okay, yeah, no, I think the key is the principle and the structure of how you're interacting, like just dedicating a little bit of time that you don't miss it that day, or you
Yeah.
gotta have a certain cadence that you say, you know what, I'm gonna put my expert hat on and I'm gonna go and just solve a problem or focus on solving somebody's problems that day, like without pitching, that if you can create that kind of a profile farming, over time, you will get a lot better reach from what I understand.
Yes, absolutely. And it doesn't always have to be based on business. You can, if somebody shows their new decor for something, you could comment on that you like it. Or if somebody's found out that they're having a baby, you can comment congratulations. It doesn't always have to be some, expert answer to some crazy question that someone has. It's just a matter of showing up, commenting. The funny thing is, if you're out there putting out content and if you're like a normal person like me, you may beat yourself up that nobody liked it, or you
Yeah.
only got a few likes or a couple of comments. But I look at content all day long. I don't like or comment on every single post, but I might appreciate it, right? Or I might go, oh, that was a good idea to myself. I'm not like commenting on that. But this 10 or 15 minutes of active engagement is really meant for you to maybe step out of your comfort bubble a little bit and say congratulations, say happy birthday, say, wow, that looks awesome, instead of just letting it scroll by like normal, right? So it just I have a I made a Facebook post not long ago and it said, if you want people to listen to your podcast, then you should be listening to podcasts. If you want people to engage with your social media, then you go engage with their social media, right? So it only makes sense to have this reciprocal kind of activity happening so you can receive that from other people as well. So that's the
Absolutely.
whole thing behind it.
Absolutely. Let's keep going.
Okay, awesome. Next, whoops, click on this. Write a value packed post. So this is different than engaging on social media. This is actually you digging in and writing something that somebody else is going to read and maybe engage with, right? So these types of posts are focused on transformation. They're either a personal story of yours or possibly a client story that highlights a challenge or a transformation, this outcome, typically something that you helped people achieve or you helped yourself get through. And typically it's around the service that you provide for others, right? Use actionable insights. So you're solving a specific problem and you may give like 3 steps or 2 steps to how you did that. So they could put themselves in that position and see that it is possible for them too. And then these posts are really focused on connection. You want to speak directly to the struggles that your audience may have, or the problems or the aspirations. And then end that post with a call to action or um, a, an encouragement for engagement, like drop me an emoji or whatever, right? So these posts, they don't have to be crazy long, 200 to 300 characters. So they're not, nobody wants to read a book as they're scrolling through, but they do want to see how you're helping people overcome things, how you've overcome things yourself. And so writing that value packed post is going to help you do that. One thing that's amazing about writing these types of posts is that you can repurpose them as well. And we'll talk about that as we keep going through the daily six.
And
These
is there a structure you follow in the writing? Like some people do hook story, offer, and like they have a certain, I guess, like a format. Is there anything you recommend on this?
I try not to keep people too pigeonholed when it comes to
Okay.
being creative. I would say don't use AI all the time to do these types of posts. Like that's one thing. Um, I use AI every day. I'm not knocking it all, but I use it to embellish or help me out with what I've already
Ideas.
created.
Yeah.
Or if I need an idea, instead of just like writing out all of my content. So that's me personally. If that's what you do and it works for you, then that's great. But one thing I have seen lately are people using AI. I don't know what agencies or something, and they're doing every bit of their graphics, their videos, and their content with AI, and it is apparent to me. And I personally don't care for it because people crave connection with people, not with machines necessarily, and not with fake, AI wrote like avatars. Like I don't know. I'm not ready
Yeah.
for it. So and it's not I don't feel a connection to that
Yeah.
video, to that story being shared, to that post. It's too fabricated for me. So I like to not put people in a box and say go, 2 lines, then 3 bullet points and 2 more lines. Like it's just however you feel it needs to come out, and it doesn't have to be a certain length. um, when somebody asks me how long should something be, whether it's a webinar or an email or a post, I say as short as possible, but as long as it's needed to get the message across.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
you
glad you
know,
said that. I'm glad you said that because the human mind is so impressive. We can differentiate and see the spirit and the soul of the message inside of the lyrics and
Hmm.
alphabets that we're reading. Like we can tell if that's real or genuine or where it's coming from. So like I am extreme on one side. If I see somebody posting with AI stuff, I typically just unfollow them because I know most of the stuff that I'm gonna come across from them is not real. Like it just, and I don't think they're fake. It's just that I just don't
No,
think that
yeah.
they're speaking the full truth all the time, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I would say that too. It's not necessarily that it's fake. It could be information that you fed the machine and it fed you back this amazing long form thing. But it's not, like you said, it's not from your heart. And I know it is funny because these are just words, but you can tell when you read them that they
Yeah.
are not coming from a human.
It's
They're
interesting. Yeah, our minds are so powerful that we can differentiate that so quickly, you know? Let's keep
yeah.
going. Let's keep
Okay,
going.
value pack post. One thing I didn't put on here, again, choose your platform. It doesn't mean that you're needing to do this everywhere. Okay. Okay. Now, daily six, number three, email your list. But what if I don't have a list? Start one. Like, put your mom on there, put yourself on there, get in the habit of sending an email. There's a coach, Mark I will say. He was on my podcast a while back. He has emailed his list every day. I want to say for the last 12 years or something ridiculous, like without fail. He just made a post about it not that long ago. But this is one of the actions that he committed to long ago when he started his business, and it it's consistency that pays off. And it's not meaning you're sharing just emails to write emails. These have purpose, they have intent. So that's what number one is here. Provide value, not noise. Share a tip, share a story, share an insight that inspires or helps your audience. Keep it light, keep it conversational. Uh, don't have to be selling every single email that you send out, but you want to keep it interesting and engaging. So when you do want to sell or provide an offer or a call to action, that people are opening your emails and they're ready to click on whatever that next step is or do whatever the thing is. But they're not going to do it if you're not sending them, number one, or if you're just sending it once a month. They're just People have a very short attention span and they become very loyal to what they open and what they read. So make sure that you're in that top list. When you email your list, repurpose content that you've already posted out on social media or that you saw a question that you answered on social media through the Daily Six. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. It can be really simple and it doesn't have to be a super long email. I've seen 9-word emails make more money for people than long, novels. And then, yeah, you can include a soft CTA in most of your emails, whether it's like stay tuned for tomorrow, like that's kind of a CTA, or you can give them a call to action, like to do something. If you actually want your audience to take the next step, you kind of have to tell them exactly what you want them to do. You can't really leave it up in the air. That's why in emails for me, I try to avoid saying, if you blank, that's giving me an option of like, well, I don't know if I want this. Like, I don't know if I want it. But if you give him more direct and say, reply here to get this, right? Or click here to download the thing. Don't say, click here if you want to download the whatever. It's so passive, and people won't do it. So make sure that you are being more direct whenever you do offer that CTA. Emailing your list, this is one big part where high level comes in, is I do this through either automations inside of high level or just through daily broadcasts to like smart lists that I've created within my contacts. So the email system in high level has come a long way since it first started, and it's really user friendly. You can track so many things now, from clicks to opens to all kinds of different, how many days ago has somebody opened your email. Like, you can see so much data. So I use high level for emailing, not just automations and workflows, but also daily broadcasts.
I love that. So I'm a big picture person. The first one, the second one, and the third one. Can you just review that real quick so far, what we've covered? The very first one was
Yes.
engaging,
Engage in
right?
social media daily.
Yeah. And second one,
Long engaging post, write an engaging post
post.
for
Yes.
social
Yes.
media.
Yeah. Third is
Number three, email your list.
okay.
And I know people say I don't have a list. Or what if I don't have a list or my list is only 5 people? Like I said, get in the habit of emailing that list and growing that list one way or another, right? Some people may already have, you may have a list just already in your normal Gmail account. Put those over in high level and start sending them in a more automated, consistent way.
Love it. And number four?
Number four, share to stories. Okay. So this isn't really where you're going to pick a platform. Stories are typically on Instagram and Facebook. Okay. But this is a practice that I do. So I keep my profile on social media fairly professional. Those posts that I make are static. They don't go anywhere, right? But stories are only for 24 hours. And I can control if only friends of my profile see my stories or friends of friends. I can really lock it down or open it wide. But stories are where I do share more of my life behind the scenes, which honestly, we all think our lives aren't that exciting or whatever, but people watch more things about my dog than they do about myself. So I promise people want to see, people are voyeurs, right? They want to see like through the window blinds of your life. And stories are a really great way to do that. So show the real you. You don't have to be all made up all the time. You don't have to be perfect all the time. Nobody wants to see that. It's fabricated and it's not real life. So share the behind the scenes moments, your personal updates, your quick wins. Like you washed your car today. It's amazing. Like people want to relate to you as a person, and stories are a really great way to do that. You can highlight your wins and your progress through your stories. Celebrate your successes, your clients' successes, the transformations, reinforce your expertise. So, some people use stories as a teaching moment. I usually just use it as more of like, here's my kids and here's what we're doing. I'm at hockey games or whatever. But it's up to you how you do it. And be creative and have fun. There's all kinds of cool stuff that you can add to your stories, like polls or a little thing like slide an emoji over for like the percentage if you agree or not. You can have quizzes or all kinds of different ways for people to interact with you that make it fun and engaging. And that's really the whole purpose of all of this stuff is to have fun, be engaging, and grow your network. So stories are a really great way to do it. And I love that they're only there for 24 hours. So it's not there all the time and it's I don't know, it's just a fun different way to share yourself on social media.
Yeah, and I also like when I can share other stories as well. It's not just my own stories, right? I'm like,
Yep.
kind of just showcasing, hey, I stand with this person's opinion on something, or here's what I'm feeling about. I found this funny. Like, hey, let me just share it
Yeah.
because I think it's funny?
I do share, like on Instagram, especially little like memes or different things that I don't necessarily want to have them on my profile all the time.
Right,
But yeah, it made me giggle in the moment, or some people will think it's funny. I can tag other people
right.
like this totally made me think of you or whatever. So yeah, it is a great way to engage with others and share their stories as well as just your own behind the scenes.
Love it.
Okay, so
Number five.
number
This is
five. Connect with one new person. Actually, this is number six.
okay.
Connect
So
with one new person every day. So here we are, we're engaging, we're posting, we're sharing the stories, we're doing all these things, but we haven't really put ourselves out there to make that connection. So that's what this is all about. So start with a genuine connection. So you've all been the recipient of some cold DMs in your inboxes. This is not what this means. Okay. So I want you to identify some people that you would love to connect with, whether and become friends with on social media, right? So you reach out to someone in your network or in your niche, you personalize your message, and you focus on building that connection with them and not just selling, right? And you may even do this through engaging on one of their posts first before you send the connection request, right? You don't have to send a DM uh, at the beginning to like, I'm not a cold outreach kind of person. I'm not a small talk kind of person. And so the way that I would connect with a person would maybe be different than someone that does like that kind of small talk, more the extroverted actions. So when you're doing this, look for people that you would love to collaborate with, whether you can add value to their network or you want to bring them into yours. Explore ways that you can work together. You can talk about joint ventures. You can talk about people that you know that you can refer them to. You can talk about partnerships. If you have a podcast, it's such a great leverage tool because that is such an easy way to connect with people when you can reach out to someone and say, I would love to have you on my podcast. Most people will say yes. It just is a no-brainer. You're out there offering value and you're offering to connect them with your audience. So of course they want to connect with you for that. So and focus on relationships. This is authentic connections, and those authentic connections, they lead to meaningful opportunities. It doesn't mean you're going in because that person has 100,000 followers on Instagram and you just want to be around them. Go in with the idea of having a meaningful relationship with this person, a meaningful connection, a give and take kind of thing, right? Focus on getting to know their goals, their challenges, and how you can potentially serve them through what you do or your network as well.
Yeah,
So I
there's got
think
to
we
be intentionality behind why you're doing a certain thing on social media, right? Especially connecting with new people.
absolutely, and it's the days are over now where you just go and hit some like get friend requests to everybody. That used to be a thing. And then it stopped, but and then the cold DM started, right? And I've seen that kind of slow down quite a bit. I think people got kind of tired of it because people want real connection. But and honestly, it doesn't take hundreds of connections to really make an impact in the lives of the people that you want to help. You could make one amazing connection, and that's all you need. But you just don't know until you put yourself out there. And so that's why part of the Daily Six is connecting with a new person every day. Okay. It doesn't mean that they're going to connect right back with you. So like on LinkedIn, for example, you might send out connection requests and it may take a few days for that person to see your request or to approve it or, however that works. So don't get discouraged if people aren't just like responding right away.
Absolutely. And each platform is different, right? Some people engage on
Yes.
Instagram totally differently, where if you don't immediately reply, they may see it as if you're brushing them off, where on LinkedIn, it's pretty normal to only reply 3 days later.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you may get a message even 3 days after that. Or you might send a message, right? Thanks for connecting. But don't send your calendar link on that first message. Like just give them a minute to breathe and get to know each other before you move that fast. So,
Love that.
uh, so let's recap again. Engage on social media daily. Create short form content. Write a value packed post. Email your list, share to stories, connect with one new person. Those are daily actions that you can take. But now I added a little bit of a bonus here. And these are weekly tasks. These aren't things you necessarily need to do every day, but these few things, when you do them consistently and maybe on a weekly basis, they're going to make a big difference for you too. So these, I just laid them out real quick. Apply to speak on podcasts or at virtual events. Or if you have a podcast, invite a guest to be on your podcast. Uh, for me, a big goal of mine for this year is to break out of the bubble that I built for myself on social media. And to get out of my bubble, I'm going to be speaking on stages and I'm going to be in like asking podcasts if they would like to have me as a guest. And I'm going to be asking people to be on my podcast. The goal is to build my network outside of my little shell that I built. There are companies that can do this for you. But honestly, if you're just setting yourself up and you have this to do once a week, put it on your calendar. Say today is the day I'm going to apply for some podcasts. Then give yourself, it doesn't take that long, especially if you're prepared and have kind of a one sheet about yourself, like that's already pre-done, and you can just send that out to relevant, podcasts that you'd like to be on. It would take you what, 10 or 15 minutes a day, once a week to do that. You can write a guest blog or article, or also submit a press release. So there's all kinds of ways to do that. High Level has an amazing blogging feature now that I've started to integrate into my website, not just for SEO type, searchable reasons, but also just a place to publish content. So that's a pretty awesome feature that's right there in the platform. So if you have a blog already, you can invite people to write for you and put their content on your blog. That just helps boost their own visibility too, with what we call backlinks and things like that. Uh, and a press release, there's all kinds of different ways to get press releases submitted, whether it's in your local area or through different types of services. So that's a pretty great way to get your name out there and to be searchable on Google whenever somebody's looking you up. Audit and refresh your digital presence. This isn't something you need to do every day. You may not even need to do it every week, but this is kind of what we talked about whenever we said about creating kind of your profile funnel. Just make sure that your description and your photos and everything are still relevant and fresh, right? And so it's okay to change things up a little bit, because that's going to kind of put you out there into the feed again if you change your profile picture or update your bio or whatever that is. It is a little bit of a drag now if you're Meta certified, like verified. You have to go through some extra steps to change your profile picture, and you have to, send them your driver's license and everything again, but it's worth it because you get a lot of visibility and engagement, even if it's just for that one day that you change that out. And another weekly task. This isn't related to social media at all, but it's engaged in some type of professional development or personal development, whether that's listening to audiobooks or a podcast or reading a book or whatever that is. Personal growth has transformed, like any kind of personal development has really transformed my life as a person, as a mom, but also as a business owner. And I think it's just really important and not to be overlooked. It's going to help you become a more sympathetic or empathetic person when you're engaging with people online. And that's really important, especially in today's really hot climate of social media. And so that to me is, I put that on there just because you want to be in control of your emotions, I think, especially now on social.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to add as we kind of just wrap up?
Small actions, big results. Like I said before, it's all about consistency. And then this, I don't know if I need that or not, but I'll stop sharing here. But
Yeah.
yeah, the whole point of this, the Daily Six, and there's a download for everyone that just walks through this basically, is all about just giving you small tasks that you can actually accomplish every day consistently to make a big impact in your visibility and in the way that you grow your business.
Absolutely. And I think what we just witnessed is almost like a foundational masterclass on building a personal brand. And I know we talked a lot about social media, and social media is kind of like the canvas that you would paint the picture in, and the story
Yeah.
of who you are. And every single one of us, I think, go through certain seasons where, you know, a social media presence is not something that ever goes away. Whether you like it or not, you already have a brand. You
Yeah.
already have a social media profile. Whether you're active or not, it doesn't matter. People see you online as a person and you already stand for certain things or don't or whatnot. They assign a certain value to that. And what I love, the biggest thing that I've taken away is like putting a plan together on these daily actions because we all have the desire to do what you're describing and what you taught, but creating a step-by-step action is something that I think like I want to just grab the six now and just add it to my calendar as a
Yeah.
daily reminder every single day.
What's super cool too is, especially with some of the tools inside of High Level, is that if you want to give yourself, say, Mondays as content creation day, you can batch this stuff out and schedule it in. So maybe you don't want to do these things every day. Well, there's some things that you kind of need to do, like engaging with others or whatever, but writing your posts and posting your things, you can batch that out. If you get into like this creative flow and that's when you want to do your writing, then do it for the whole week and use the scheduler in High Level. Put those up there and it's done for, you've got it done in an hour and you don't have to think about it again.
I love it. Amanda, thank you so much for saying yes to us and being part of the social media marathon. And I'm sure we're going to see you again for other events and things like that. For those of you that were watching, we appreciate you. In case if you don't have a high level trial and you're not part of the high level family yet and you haven't taken a look at it, what would you say to those people that are on the fence about jumping into high level?
I would say come in with pick one or two tasks that you want to achieve with software. And get in and work on those. High level is so powerful. If you go in and try to learn the whole thing at once, it can become really overwhelming. So, say you just want a way to email your list. We'll come in and set that up. Don't worry about all those other things that it can do. Work on that part first and then move on to the next. And then there's also so many now certified high level people that can help you move forward faster with the software. So if you do decide to jump in and you just don't know what you're doing, uh, find someone to help you because there's tons of people out there that can do it and it'll cut your learning curve and the time that you put into it more than in half.
Absolutely. And thank you, Amanda, for saying yes again. We'll see you. Bye for now.
Great. Thanks so much.